What's up, 12s? Victor here, and I'm not gonna lie. This one hurts a little. We just won the Super Bowl. We watched our offense dominate. We saw our star running back take home Super Bowl MVP after 135 rushing yards on the biggest stage against the New England Patriots. He carried us through the postseason, over 300 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, clutch runs when we needed them most. And now, there's a very real chance he might not be back in Seattle next season. According to league reports, including from insider Adam Schefter, the Seahawks are not expected to use the franchise tag on their Super Bowl MVP. That tag would cost $14. $1 million for one season, $14 million for a running back. And in today's NFL, that's a massive commitment. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Analyst Bucky Brooks believes Seattle could pivot quickly, potentially replacing the Super Bowl hero with a Day 2 draft pick in a loaded 2026 running back class. Let that sink in. You win a championship, and weeks later you're already planning the succession. That's not emotional, that's strategic. And there's already a specific name being projected to Seattle. A powerful, compact back from the Pacific Northwest who just scored 17 total touchdowns last season. A runner who posted back-to-back years of strong production. A player known for elite vision, contact balance, and the ability to absorb hits and keep moving. He's not flashy. He's not built on highlight reel speed. He's built on toughness and consistency, and he might be sitting there at pick number 64. Now let's talk philosophy, 12s. This offense runs a Shanahan-style wide zone system. Historically, that system doesn't overspend at running back. It rotates, it drafts, it plugs in fresh legs, and keeps cap flexibility. Meanwhile, our Super Bowl MVP is projected to command roughly $36 million over 4 years on the open market. That's the business. Extensions are coming for other stars. Big defensive contracts add up. You can't pay everyone, even after winning it all. So the question becomes, do you reward the hero who just delivered a Lombardi? Or do you trust the system and draft his replacement at a fraction of the cost? This is what separates contenders from long-term dynasties. Emotion says, pay him. Roster math says, think bigger. And I'm torn, 12s, because that burst, that explosion, that ability to flip a game in one run, you can't just replace that overnight. But this front office has proven they think 3 steps ahead. So if you're a real 12, if you're still smiling every time someone says Super Bowl champions, smash that like button. Subscribe to Seahawks Nation Update, but only if you're truly proud of this team and ready to defend that title. Because this offseason, it's about to test whether we're celebrating a moment or building a dynasty. All right, 12s, this one hurts a little. The Seahawks may not tag Kenneth Walker III. According to reports from Adam Schefter, the Seahawks are unlikely to use the franchise tag on Kenneth Walker III. Let that sink in. The man who just won Super Bowl MVP. The man who rushed for 135 yards in Super Bowl LX. The man who powered us through the postseason with 313 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. And the franchise tag? It would cost about $14. $1 million for 1 year. That number is not small, especially at running back. Why this isn't as crazy as it sounds? First, let's take emotions out of it for a second, even though that's hard. The franchise tag at $14+ million basically says you are a cornerstone elite piece this season. And while Walker absolutely played like that in the playoffs, the NFL has changed. Front offices don't love paying premium money at running back. It's a brutal position, high injury risk, short shelf life, and production can sometimes be replicated in the right system. And remember, Seattle is juggling other major priorities. Extensions are coming, big money decisions are looming. You can't lock up that kind of cap space without consequences. That's roster math. The Bucky Brooks prediction. Now here's where it gets interesting. NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks believes Seattle could pivot quickly, potentially drafting a running back on Day 2. Day 2 means second or third round, not a desperation pick, a strategic replacement. Brooks pointed to 2 key factors: the depth of the 2026 running back class, the Shanahan-Kubiak offensive philosophy, and that's important. Even though Clint Kubiak moved on, Seattle's offensive identity is still rooted in wide zone principles that trace back to Kyle Shanahan. And historically, that system has made running backs look very, very good, regardless of draft status. That's the uncomfortable truth. Scheme over star? Look around the league. Shanahan-style systems have turned mid-round backs into 1,000-yard rushers consistently. The philosophy isn't pay the back, it's feed the system. And if Seattle believes they can draft a younger, cheaper back on day 2 and plug him into the same wide zone structure that just helped win a Super Bowl, from a business standpoint, it makes sense. Emotionally, it stings. Let's talk about Walker, the player. Walker isn't just some replaceable back. He's explosive. He's decisive. His jump cuts are elite. And in the postseason, he elevated his game. 313 rushing yards in the playoffs, 4 touchdowns, Super Bowl MVP. That's not average production. That's legacy-level stuff. But here's the hard question. Was that Walker? Or was that Walker in a perfectly functioning championship system? Because if it's the system, then Seattle may believe they can replicate 80–90% of that production at 25% of the cost. That's how front offices think. What this means for the offseason. Here's what shifts immediately. Walker's camp gains leverage if he hits the open market. Seattle keeps financial flexibility. The draft becomes critical. Every day 2 RB prospect will now be linked to Seattle. The tag window closes in early March. That's when we'll know for sure. And if the Seahawks don't tag him, the combine is going to be very interesting. Every running back interview, every 40-yard dash, every visit, we'll be watching closely. My take is a 12. I love Kenneth Walker. I want him back. But I also trust this front office. They just built a Super Bowl roster. They understand roster construction better than any of us yelling on YouTube, including me. If they move on, it's not because they don't value him, it's because they value sustainability. Championship windows don't stay open by getting sentimental. Now I want to hear from you. Do you pay Walker? Do you tag him? Do you draft his replacement on day 2? Or do you think letting a Super Bowl MVP walk is a massive mistake? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk it out like real 12s. All right. Now let's talk about something that could define whether we repeat as champions. But before we jump into this, I need to know something. Are you still celebrating that Super Bowl win? Are you still replaying that confetti moment in your head? If you're a real Seahawks fan who's proud we're the defending champs, smash that like button and subscribe right now. Only true 12s who are happy about that Lombardi allowed in here. Seahawks predicted to draft Jonah Coleman as Ken Walker insurance. All eyes are still on Kenneth Walker III, Super Bowl MVP. 135 rushing yards on the biggest stage, 313 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns in the postseason. But here's the reality. He's heading into free agency, and Spotrac projects his market value at 4 years, $36 million. That's about $9 million per year. That's not cheap, especially for a running back. Now add in the fact that Zach Charbonnet is coming off a season-ending ACL injury. And suddenly, this position isn't as stable as it looked during the parade. That's where this gets interesting. The projection, Jonah Coleman at no. 64. According to Pro Football Focus, the Seahawks are projected to select Jonah Coleman out of the Washington Huskies with the 64th overall pick in the second round. Now 12s, you already know I love when we keep Pacific Northwest talent in the building. Let's talk production. Over the last 2 seasons, Coleman has scored 27 total touchdowns. In 2024, 193 carries, 153 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns. In 2025, 156 carries, 758 rushing yards, 15 rushing TDs, 31 receptions, 354 receiving yards, 2 receiving TDs. That's consistent production. That's nose for the end zone mentality. And here's the key. He's not flashy. He's not a track star back, but he's physical, compact, balanced. He runs with vision and power. Draft Network describes him as a sturdy, dense, lower body runner with high-end vision and strong contact balance. That screams wide zone fit. How does he fit the Seahawks? Let's be honest. Our offense is built on the run game setting the tone. Even as the league gets more pass-heavy, Seattle's identity has always been physical. Coleman is not the explosive jump cut artist that Walker is. He's not breaking 60-yarders every game. But what he does give you, short yardage reliability, red zone efficiency, contact balance, ability to catch out of the backfield. He scored 17 total touchdowns last season. 17! That's finishing drives. That's moving chains. That's playoff-style football. If Walker returns on a big deal, Coleman becomes elite insurance. If Walker leaves, Coleman becomes part of a committee with upside. Either way, drafting him on day 2 gives Seattle cost-controlled production for 4 years. That's smart roster building. The Walker situation. Let's not ignore what head coach Mike McDonald said before the Super Bowl. He made it clear they want Walker back. He called him phenomenal, a great teammate, a foundational piece. But business is business. Walker's rookie contract was 4 years, $8, $4 million. Now we're talking about potentially $36 million on the open market. That's a huge jump. And after winning a championship, every dollar matters. Extensions are coming. Depth needs to be maintained. Windows close fast in this league, my honest take. If we re-sign Walker at a reasonable number, I'm celebrating. If the price climbs too high and Seattle pivots to a young back like Coleman, I understand it. Because here's the truth, 12s, championship teams think long-term. We just saw a dominant playoff run built on system, discipline, and physicality. If the front office believes they can plug in a powerful, efficient back like Coleman and maintain 85–90% of Walker's production for a fraction of the price, that's how dynasties are built. It's not always about emotion, it's about sustainability. Now I want to hear from you. Would you draft Jonah Coleman at 64? Is he good insurance? Or do you go all in and pay Kenneth Walker whatever it takes? Drop your takes in the comments. Let's debate it like real 12s. And again, if you're proud of this team, if you believe we can repeat, if you're still hyped about being Super Bowl champs, like the video and subscribe to Seahawks Nation Update. This is Victor. Go Hawks!